to make it into a collective, apartment complex. Like, how other activists that have done things before Occupy have done in the past.
Community within a community?
Huh?
Like a community within a community?
Yeah, like if they have a collective, like where it's an activist headquarters where people can go. They usually have like a library with tons of activist material and literature, which they lend out like a real library. They usually have like, there was one here until like 2 years ago when they tore it down and made a parking lot for Honda. But they had something like that
for Honda,
where they also had a bike collective where they made the bike scene in Miami grow by giving away hundreds of bikes, and taught people how to build their own bikes, and taught people many skills like that. And so it was a very successful collective. And so
this would be.
If you had
it was only 22 blocks down there.
Sweet.
For the bikes?
Yeah.
Just have somebody set up a little infotainment out here. You can do your how to be an activist. You can have these flyers. And just have somebody, everybody do maybe 2 hours or something, so that everybody's contributing. You don't have people just hanging around and nothing.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm trying to get this done, because once I have this, I'll have a lot of material for everybody to get started. And since we're going to be having the everyday talks before we go out, it also helps the stagnantness.
Yeah, like you could go around door to door just here.
Like name, department, whatever, the person. And then these are the things that, they can say, I did 2 hours doing this, 2 hours doing that, You know what I'm saying? I mean, anybody can contribute somehow.
Yes, this is good.
That's for you guys. Yeah. That's actually for you guys.
So you say, okay, you're going to stay here, because nobody's being charged
anything. Who wrote
anything.
this up?
We did.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Right, yeah. So you put it up on a board, and you say, okay, everybody has to give at least 2 hours of something per day. So you're going to have a community kitchen, I would imagine, at some point. You're going to have, I don't know, but
library, info tent.
We're going to be able to have
construction, cleaning. I mean, there's a whole list, and you can add stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more stuff on there. But you want everybody to contribute, and everybody can't do the same thing, There's people that you can't put at the info booth. Yeah. It's not going to work,
That's why there's people that won't be able to be on the street team.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're not as social as other people,
But they can help clean, they can help build, they can help the garden, they could, fucking have a couple of chickens in the backyard, lay eggs, whatever. Whatever works for you guys.
Exactly. There's going to be a lot of things that people could do. Like, I'm also a musician, and so, like...
Oh, are you?
Yeah. I'm mainly a musician before I was doing activism. I've been an activist for, like, 5 years, so, in Miami. I've done a lot of things. Like, I've done Food Not Bombs. I've gotten tons... Whole Foods was my main, like, provider of my food that I would feed people, and they would give me $600 worth of food, of all organic food.
Well, if you guys need a non-profit to get some food from some of the local restaurants, I'll give you a copy of my certificate you can take, because we're 501c3.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because you need an EIN number. Yeah, you can get food with that.
Oh, yeah, I was going to... if you're a non-profit, could you sign off on community service hours?
That's what we're going to try and find out.
I'll tell you what the law was like before. I was telling Kevin. Okay, like 10, 15 years ago, you can go to a regular non-profit in Florida, and you could do your hours. But of course, like I say, Eric's my boy, I got a non-profit, let me just sign him off, without you doing the hours. So a lot of people were doing that. So they changed it, and it was like specifically places like, the Red Cross, Salvation Army, shit like that. Now, that was 10 or 15 years ago. I don't know if the law has changed, if they have changed it back or whatever. So you might want to check into it, because if he does a non-profit thing, you could just...
Yeah, because I've been here since October 15th.
In Florida?
At this Occupy. I've been doing it since day one. I was the second tent pitched out at government.
A lot of people that get in community service because of Occupy movement.
so they get arrested, have to do community service.
And they do it at the Occupy. Exactly.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
It would be great.
We're writing up a pamphlet that it's the Occupy guide to how to be an everyday activist. How to be the everyday activism guide for the common citizen, which is what it's going to be called. And it's pretty much a guide on how to be an activist or be active in your community. So as much as possible, if you have a busy schedule or you're just a common person and want to be able to make some differences or try to get some things out there in your local community, in your local district, and your local city. And so within the county. And so pretty much we're gonna compile all the district representatives and all the district commissioners and everybody's information so that we could contact them, so that we could give all that information to all the people that we give these pamphlets to. And we're also going to have it on the internet as well. The street team's going to have its own section where someone can go and download all the street team's material, which will be constantly being updated in the PDF file, so that anybody can download all of our material, all of our pamphlets, all of our stuff, and print them out themselves and be able to go around in their community and be part of the Occupy Miami street team, even if they haven't ever really been to the Occupy Miami camp.
Who's putting all this together? Is it just you?
Yeah, just me at the moment.
What's your last name, Eric?
Olivero.
Okay.
Olivero.
So what about the street team? Do you have anybody in mind? Anybody's?
Yeah, I have a few people in mind already. I have like Jorgen, my roommate Jay, this guy from Occupy Mexico who's staying with us.
Abraham, yeah. I met Abraham.
Yeah, he's good. He's very knowledgeable.
What area are you gonna like target? Like your main area?
The first little bit is gonna be around here, but around
Overtown?
downtown Miami, downtown and Overtown. Like, you know, we'll probably give some out to everybody around here a little bit one of these days. You know, but this isn't the safest neighborhood.
I don't know, but you have like since we've been here, like every night, every day we speak to at least a couple of people. She spoke to somebody today, and you know, the woman was interested. She wanted to know what was going on here, whatever she didn't know. And of course, most people here probably can't afford financial donations, but she was like, you know, my husband's he does drywall. You know, maybe he can help like fix the building or whatever. You know.
Wow.
So people here willing to. If people in the community see that you're
unified.
If people in the community see that you're trying to do something for the community, do the right thing. I mean, they can't help you financially most times in a community like this, but they can help you with material things. So.
Yeah, or somebody's got a pickup truck and they can haul some garbage away.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it doesn't even have to be that much, but when you don't have a way to get it, if it saves you money, it's like contributing.
Exactly. No.
Somebody's old fridge is throwing out, it still works.
Having donations like that are way better
than money,
than getting monetary. We'll see it happening probably full-fledged by the end of March, which should be in a full-fledged force, having a really focused team. And also I'm compiling teams for other areas of the city, which I'm trying to compile one for people that I know in Kendall, which is all the way out west. I'm trying to get a team out there for Miami-Dade campus, and so that they could do canvassing out there at the campus and canvassing around like the main areas like 137th Avenue, you know, where the main places where people actually go and like commute and like hang out, and people like, you know, do their day-to-day things, so that we could get out in that community, because that community is kind of completely untouched. South Miami, which is they're a more progressive community, and they would, you know, they're very more homey, but like we haven't outreached enough to them.
Yeah.
And so we're also assembling a team for them. And Palmetto Bay is another place where there's tons of people that I know that would love to know about it. Tons of lawyers live there, and you know, so
if you can get something for us, I mean, when we're going through, we could you know, find some people and get some information or give them their name. You know, they can contact them.
Yeah, it's all part of Miami anyway, right? All these places are part of Miami.
All these places are part of Miami. It's just that Miami's such a big suburb, like in reality of it all, as a city. Like it's so sprawled out that it's really hard to get everybody out to be in, like, you know, if we're here to get enough funds to get out there to do our mission out there and then come back and then, you know, and to accomplish our objective. I need to get a team for out there, or at least a more mobilized team, because we have some mobility here. But I would like the team to be able to be, you know, even simultaneously, we'll have people in downtown, and we'll have people in South Miami, and we'll have people in different parts of the city, or we'll have people in Coconut Grove, another part that can be hit up very well, and that's where Miami-Dade County City Hall is in Coconut Grove. It's not in downtown.
It's not?
It's in a complete separate part of town. Coconut Grove has it's the only place that keeps like the small town vibe of Miami from like the 60s or something. But it's it's been industrialized and gentrification is really like working its way into that neighborhood, and they're trying to really destroy a lot of historic houses and all this stuff out there. So it's a little sad. It's gonna really open up our spectrum of where we're gonna be able to expand and how easily they'll be able to obtain the materials. What I think what we need to be doing is trying to get the colleges that we have around the local area and getting them to start their own, autonomous student movement within the Occupy movement, so that they can have a large, student following throughout the country, which would be great, because that brings a whole group of people that may have not been activists any other way. That's another thing. I was also trying to see if we could, at some of our events, try to get the voters registration people out there so that we could be registering people to vote and get behind the causes that we're trying to get behind. People, register new voters that specifically are registering because they want to change.
Yeah, but you know what's happening? Here's what I've seen through my travels. Most of the students that I've met say, I'm not voting, I don't care, I don't like the system, I don't like the politicians. So that's why I started this USA Assembly. I'm like, okay, if I give you somebody to vote for, or you find somebody to vote for, you bring them forward, we'll all vote for that person. Because there's a lot of people who feel the same. So if we use that, tap into all those votes, we may be able to make some change, and if not, it's going to send a huge message.
Yeah, that's the thing kids don't seem to understand, is that even if you do vote and that person doesn't win, if enough people vote, enough people were on that like-minded attitude, that person's going to gain notoriety way more so than he would have if nobody was paying attention and everybody thought, because you're not throwing away your vote, you're actually giving that person more of a chance to have publicity and be able to be well known in the masses.
Don't
and if
throw
you didn't,
the vote away.
and exactly. Don't throw a vote.
Voting poll and just write this person's name in your district. And I think it's never happened before, but I think the timing couldn't be better, because we've never had this much disruption in our whole political system. I mean, everything's gone to crap right now. People don't know. Look at the GOP lineup. And then who have you got on the Democrat side? People aren't happy with that. So there's like nobody that these kids are going to trust.
I feel like what you're talking about was almost attempted once before, and it fell short.
But there was no occupation happening.
Right, that's true.
What we have going on our side right now.
But
we have social media
and we have
of the yin yang, and we have a huge population of disgruntled people, not just the students and us, occupiers, but there's this whole block of people in the middle who don't know what to do either, who are just going to go and vote for whatever happens to be alphabetically on the ballot. I don't know how they vote. Nobody knows, right?
Right. Well, and the final thing with that is that, we can vote all we want, but if Karl Rove owns the company that owns the voting machines, like, how are we ever going to have a fair vote?
Because we are going to have online voting on USA Assembly.
That's pretty cool, but it's just, but then you get, do we have Anonymous as doing our web security, or
I don't know, but let's find out.
What's up?
Let's find out. We need those resources.
So those are a couple of hesitations I have, but I think they're good ideas. I just want to mention some of the student groups that we have working with us now, other than like the Occupy FIU and like Occupy UM. STAND, students towards a new democracy.
Okay.
They are supporting us here in South Florida, and the group that he was talking about, SDS, Students for Democratic Society.
Yeah.
They're the ones who started the Weather Underground. Started off of them. Well, they reformed in like 2000. And new SDS is pushing in a lot of
progressive,
a lot of areas.
Yeah.
And they're all over the place, just not so much in South Florida.
Okay, well, that's the difference with the poll voting. You don't know where your ballot ends up.
Well, in Florida, you don't get a receipt. You don't get anything in Florida.
Okay, so it's even
Florida's
worse.
like
You don't get anything.
computerized,
You
right?
just put it in a computer, and it's
Yeah.
So we
That's
need
all.
somebody who can design something from an IP address to say, from this IP address, this is how it's vote. I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there.
Or what if it's a home that has 3 people that want to vote, and they only have one computer?
But you're going to put your name on, so you could technically go through and see that those people live. I don't know.
Would it be like a straw poll type vote, or would it be like an actual, you could vote for your president through your.
I don't know. I'm hoping it gets to the presidency level. At
So
some
what
point.
kind of credentials would we
What about
have
for
to
communities that don't have
associate?
internet access?
For the person renting?
Yeah, or like no, like what would we have to do in order to make it a official voting website? Where people could actually
The U.S. Congress would have to allow
endorse it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Just
mean,
like
it's very
asking
interesting. idea.
You know, but we're going to give it our best shot to try and do it legitimately. And if they don't embrace it, and let's just say we get 500,000 people on our website who are interested in saying, okay, who's in my district? What am I? So at some point there was talk in one of the universities that I was in, and they said, you know, if we got 2 or 3 people running, then we could do an anonymous thing. So you could have these people run, nobody would know what they look like, how old they were, what color they were. You could obviously tell male, female, but you would just have somebody, I envision this, just a camera and a light, and then you just see the backs of them and you interview people until people get to know and they say, oh, I like number 1 or 2 or
And then you see
3.
who they are.
You could have a lot of fun. And then
That's
at the
interesting.
end you say, here's the person that was the most popular. And now you see what they look like.
Here's your candidate. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
You can make some sort of policy where it's law that campaign promises be fulfilled, or the person loses their office.
Yeah. You can be
Then we
fired.
would
All
have.
these fucking campaign promises are realistic, and people
Well,
fall
yeah,
for them.
but
you know?
don't make them.
But
Exactly.
people
I'm saying,
wouldn't
but
make
people-
them.
But that's
Oh,
the
no, no,
point.
if we
If
do
you
it this
get
way,
thrown
yeah.
in jail for not following through on your campaign promises, you wouldn't
Yeah.
be making crappy campaign
That would be
promises.
ideal. That would fucking
Yeah,
be ideal.
it's
you
called
know?
accountability.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
You
shit.
don't get just to say shit and get in.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
and,
you
and,
now
and
are-
go back on everything you said.
Yeah.
You now
know,
are
to
part
make
of the
it,
Get
be
Shit Done group. You are part of the working group. You know, automatically you get elected. You're in the Get Shit Done group.
Yeah, you gotta get
So-
shit done, not come in there,
Right, exactly.
talk a big
But
game
you know,
and
we
get
can
in
make
there.
it fun too. We can give people something to look forward to.
Absolutely, and I mean, we definitely need to bring democracy up to date with the 21st century.
Yeah. Yeah.
My only other concern is, especially where we are right now. This area is not going to have high speed internet access for every individual who lives here. Okay, so what do we do about areas like this, like downtown
Libraries?
Miami? Like, well, even there
What we
you
can
have to
do
pay
is get
$5
T.
for
We
guest
can get
access.
T1.
For a library, you have
We
to
could
pay.
get T.
If you don't have a
What-
Miami-Dade resident,
We could get
What
a
about this
business,
thing that I
though.
have? And you just go door to door with
We can
a
get a
hotspot.
business a business internet account.
T1.
Yeah, T3 for like $100 or cheaper.
Okay.
Actually.
This is something
But
that-
it has to be a business.
Well, Rami and I were
Because
talking
it's
about
super
how
cheap
to
if you
make
get it on-
Wi-Fi towers.
Well,
Like,
that,
Yeah,
How to
somebody,
make your
somebody,
own
To extend it?
broadcasting. No, how to make your own broadcasting towers.
Well, if we got it-
So it's literally your own internet. Like
yeah,
it-
somebody was telling me that yesterday.
Rami knows the details on how to do it, because basically what you would do is you're creating a mini internet on a server,
Oh.
and then you're just feeding. Your server will then connect to the real internet and copies the pages off the real internet. So it takes
Okay.
a few more seconds to download everything. It takes a few more seconds for pages to load, but you have literally your own internet that cannot be tampered
It
with.
doesn't matter where our resources are, they could be all over the world. Because eventually, if it works here, if we are the change we see, we can take this global. You know? So, start somewhere.
Yeah, so I mean, somebody's got to try it. Somebody's got to try it.
So I think we get people from all over the U.S. to work on it. We form this working group, and we get the people at UC Davis, the people at NCSU, and wherever. If we can hit all corners of the U.S. to participate, you know, the more the merrier, right?
Yeah, man, definitely. And you know, when you guys leave from here, tell people that we exist.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like, you know, every time we hear about Occupy, you hear about Occupy Wall Street,
right.
Occupy LA, Occupy
Oakland.
Oakland, Occupy everywhere else. You never hear about Occupy Miami.
This is what will put you on the map. This right here.
This
Yeah,
building.
this
If-
building.
Truly.
If we can get it together and do
The
it
other thing I
right.
wanted to do was make this a community service works project through some of the college campuses. Like FIU has an engineering campus. They also have sustainable design. They also have Miami-Dade has like community service type service hours. And if you can get a couple of teachers or professors to adopt this and allow their students to use this for community service learning hours, then that would basically be all the incentive you need for college students to come out. This is the most socially apathetic city in the country. I guarantee this is probably the most socially apathetic city.
Right.
You know, for there to be problems here, for it to be rough, makes absolute perfect sense when none of these people have ever seen anything like this before. In fact, most of the world's never seen anything like this before. So, not that occupations haven't existed, because people occupy factories all the time for better rates, but we don't see that here in the United States. You know what I mean? We didn't see it on such a scale that we saw it here.
Yeah.
So when people talk about that, they get frustrated. I understand the frustration, but embrace that. That's part of the change.
Yeah, and help
That's part
fix it.
of
Help make it
democracy.
right.
Exactly.
Don't just back away.
Kev, if it's real quick off topic, just a question actually, but if you could change one thing right now, what would you change? One thing. There's a lot of things, but what would
I would
try to
pass
make
the
an impact?
Occupied Amendment. I would pass that amendment tomorrow. Because
Public
once,
elections.
well, yeah, outlawing corporate cash that's undermining our elections and democracy. I mean, you don't get any more simpler than that.
Yeah.
If you're on the right wing and you want to quell all the bullshit that's going on in the United States, you pass that amendment. If you're on the left wing, you want to actually change something, you pass that amendment. If you hate both political parties and you want to do something better for your country, you pass that damn amendment. Any way you look, passing that amendment fixes 90% of the problems that we're talking about today.
Yeah.